Happy Thursday to you all. Welcome to a brand new edition of Futbol Americas. He is Janusz. He is Kasey Keller. Kasey, you're here in person.
Yeah, I've been here for
Connecticut
a while.
boy.
Yeah,
For a little bit.
a good stint.
Yeah.
Yep.
You chose a good time to stay a few extra days here in Connecticut. It's getting nice and warm. Although this weekend,
Yeah.
not looking.
Spring. Spring's always a little wild wherever you're at.
Yeah.
But, it was decent, then it got hot, and then it's going to get a little chilly.
Yeah, spring is a little wild in Connecticut, and things are getting a little wild in U.S. soccer. We will get into that in just a second. But Nashville conquers the Azteca. That is something that we didn't expect either in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, although Herc did call it. He is at WrestleMania, so he's a little wild right now himself. Also, New Jersey and FIFA go at it in public, a little head-to-head before the first whistle even blows in the World Cup. But first, let's get right to the news that we saw breaking on Tuesday. Sporting director Matt Crocker quit U.S. Soccer less than 2 months out from the 2026 World Cup to take a similar role with the Saudi Arabia Soccer Federation. Now, the U.S. Soccer Federation said in a statement that Chief Operating Officer Dan Helfrich will, quote, provide executive oversight and support across the Federation's sporting operations, working closely with Assistant Sporting Director Oguchi Onyewu. So a lot to break down, and we know we've had time to digest this news, a couple of days. But with that, we're going to bring in our Jeff Carlisle, because I know we were surprised with the news. Jeff, how surprised were you to read the news on Tuesday?
I was very surprised. Matt Crocker has checked a lot of boxes in his time with U.S. Soccer. I mean, obviously, he hired Emma Hayes, he hired Mauricio Pochettino. He helped oversee the building of the National Training Center. And then there's the much vaunted U.S. way in terms of youth player development. Now, granted, he's not the first person to try to get his arms around that particular topic. I mean, you can remember Project 2010. You can remember the Development Academy. You can remember Claudio Reyna's manifesto in terms of player development. So, I mean, this is not the first time that this has been attempted, but it was a little shocking to see the architect of that USA plan decide to jump ship right when the plan's about to be executed. Now, talking to people inside the U.S. Soccer Federation, they say with the U.S. way, it's all systems go, that they have the staff in place to make sure that Matt Crocker's plan gets executed properly. And then, everything with the World Cup is pretty much in place. But I think it's still, the optics are terrible. Let's just call it for what it is, because, the World Cup is a couple months away, less than that, actually. And so for one of your senior executives to pick this moment to leave the federation, I think is a little peculiar. I mean, the other thing I'm hearing is that, the Saudis are involved and there's generational money that is going to be sent Matt Crocker's way. And so from that standpoint, you can kind of understand it. But again, talking to one federation source, they just said weird timing. And I think that just about sums it up, because, even if you're Matt Crocker and you decide to leave, I think now is just a strange time to be pulling the trigger on this particular move.
Yeah, Jeff, there's no reason for it now. I mean, it's like nothing changes from what the U.S. has done to this point in preparation to then finish it off at the World Cup. And there's nothing that he's going to do for Saudi between now and their exit from the World Cup. So why not just finish your job, have a conversation with the powers that be at U.S. Soccer. Hey, look, they're going to triple my wages. Hey, of course, yeah, you got to take that. No question.
Right.
But you can take it in July just as easy as you can in April. So for me, yes, big head scratcher, but then also it leaves you feeling like something's being left out. That
You get in that case.
That I'm getting the vibe that there's something missing.
That we don't know.
There's something else here. Otherwise, we could have all just sat down and said, "Hey, thank you. Finish this out afterwards, or even beforehand." Say,
you can announce the deal now.
You can
right?
announce it 100% now, and just say, "Hey, after the World Cup, I've got this opportunity." The Saudis looked at it and said, we have a chance to bring the sport director that led the host nation to hosting, and now we have the chance to take the same person to do that, take that institutional knowledge. But yeah, this leaves more questions.
Yeah, it's a big question mark on all of it, Janusz.
Yeah, just optics, because, I mean, if he resigned after the World Cup, which we all liked, it wouldn't have changed anything. Still resigns, right? It's a big, big project. And Jeff has mentioned, I mean, he's done some good things. There's no question about that. But for me, this is the sort of job that has to almost be generational. It has to be for a long time. Now, nobody gives you that guarantee, but I never really liked the hiring to begin with. Not that I knew who he was before. Even now in our soccer bubble, who knows who Matt Crocker really is,
agreed.
right? I mean, we're talking to a lot of people. Not only do they not know who he is, they don't know what he does, right? So aside from that's just.
I'm laughing
you know,
because you're
I didn't
right.
like it. Not that I anticipated this, but you know, I just always felt that for a job like this, and we've been there for a long, long time. The landscape of U.S. soccer is so vast that even Matt Crocker kind of hinted that, my goodness, I didn't even realize how big of a job it is. And from that standpoint, I don't know if I wanted to pay $700,000 to a guy that for the first couple of years figures out what the landscape is, right? That's why, you know, nothing against him, but for me, it was always going to be somebody that truly, truly understands the game of soccer, football, whatever you want to call it in this country. And I just never felt that anyone from outside can do this job properly. Now, I don't know anybody, but Gucci Onyewu, for example, don't change anything.
Right.
Just give him the job.
Yep.
He's been there. He's done that. He understands
Been like
it.
his
Now,
understudy.
we'll see if he can do a better job, but I feel much more comfortable with somebody like this. I'll pay him $2 million, Gucci, if you like, because you don't have to take 2-3 years to figure out what needs to be done.
But Janusz, it's also, I don't have a problem if Matt Crocker had been living in America for 10 years beforehand, because I think your point is extremely valid. I think it's very, very difficult to be like, wait a minute, it's a little bit different there, and then that's really far away, and then that's over there, and that's there. And so yeah, to come in and absolutely have no idea, to then throw around a lot of buzzwords, you know, that.
He liked algorithms,
Oh,
right?
I mean, the U.S. way.
It's all good.
I mean, but define that, and,
Right,
and then
right.
you can't because it doesn't exist. So it is. Good riddance.
Yeah, here's the thing, Jeff, and I think the problem here, more than anything, you mentioned the optics. We're less than 60 days out of the World Cup. So how big of a blow is this really for U.S. soccer, the timing, the distraction? We're talking about this instead of talking about preparation for World Cup.
I mean, I don't think it's that much of a blow. I mean, like you said, we're less than 60 days out, but you know, in some ways better for this to happen now rather than 6 days before the World Cup. You know, then I think it would have even been, you know, an even bigger distraction. I mean, I think when it comes time for the tournament to start, you know, when the roster gets announced, when the team enters camp in Atlanta and then ultimately Irvine, California, right before its first World Cup game, I think that's going to be the focus. You know, I don't think a whole lot changes because Matt Crocker isn't there. You know, I think at this stage, you know, he was more of a presence. And also the guy that hired Mauricio Pochettino. So, you know, I think to a certain degree, those two guys were joined at the hip a little bit. But, I mean, I just don't see it having a huge impact. I mean, the impact, I think, is going to be felt further down the road. You know, the much vaunted U.S. way, I mean, how much, you know, how successful is that going to be? I mean, how much buy-in is there going to be from a youth soccer community that has been fractured for as long as I've covered the sport. So, and even before that. So I think just in terms of the World Cup, in terms of the men's national team, you know, I think it's as you were. I mean, carry on, guys, get fit, get informed, get ready for this tournament because it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. And, you know, they're going to be intent on making the most of it. And I think that can be done whether Matt Crocker's there or not.
Yeah, let the higher-ups take care of all of that executive stuff. Let Mauricio Pochettino and the boys focus on what they need to on the field. Jeff, I want to stick with you because we know that you were very much in agreement with what Janusz was saying about Gucci now, who was the assistant sporting director, and he's sort of been the understudy here for Matt Crocker. When it comes to what's next for U.S. soccer, do you like the possibility of seeing Gucci here as a permanent sporting director for U.S. soccer? Because you won't have to explain to him as much as maybe a new guy coming into the federation.
I do. I mean, I would be in favor of that appointment, and here's why. I mean, he's got a real breadth of experience. He played overseas. He played for the U.S. men's national team. He's been a sporting director in the United States. He's been a sporting director overseas. Granted, in modest situations, but I think that experience is still valuable. And this is a guy that speaks, I think, 3 or 4 languages just from his time abroad. So I think, he's going to be able to have connections. He's going to be able to, be known, to both people in the United States and people overseas. So, and I think he served his apprenticeship. I mean, I think he's paid his dues. He's been everywhere. I mean, he's with the U17s when they're playing. He's with the U20s when they're playing. He's with the women's national team when they're playing. So, I think, he's put in the hours. He's put in the work. And I think he would be deserving of his opportunity for sure. And, I just think that it's the logical move. And I think it's the move that makes the most sense if you're Sidney Parlow-Cohn and JT Batson.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of possible resignations or re-signings, because we know they're 2 separate words, although when you text it, it's the same word, resigns and re-signs. But when it comes to a possibility of seeing Mauricio Pochettino re-sign Janusz, which we know is kind of hard, when you put a percentage on it, what are you expecting from him after the World Cup?
Yeah, I think he'll be tempted by going back to Europe because, I mean, he's in a position right now. He's actually in a stronger position than he was when he left, although Chelsea fans will remember that towards the end of that reign, he was just getting his arms around Chelsea Football Club, and many miss him there. But I think now, with Real Madrid, with an interim manager, obviously there's some big jobs in England that may open as well. So, I think he'll be tempted for that. I think he's still young enough as a manager that maybe he's probably thinking that part, perhaps he doesn't feel that his job was done there. So, but I think it will all depend what kind of a deal he's going to be presented here by U.S. Soccer, what kind of commitments U.S. Soccer Federations is ready to make, because it appears to me that he likes his job right here, and finances are going to come into that, of course, as well. So right now, if I had to bet, he'd go back to Europe, but I'd be more than happy if he stays. Well, let's just wait and see what he does in the World Cup, right? Because that's going to make a difference, not for us, but for him as well.
Yeah.
0.0001%.
That's what I wanted.
It's a shorter way of saying
That's what I wanted
saying.
to
He's
say.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's not staying here. He's not staying here for twofold.
Right.
One, they're not going to pay him $6 million a year for 2 years of friendlies, because qualifying won't start for 2 years. There's no point for that. Second of all, where have the results been to show that we should be paying this guy $6 million a year and carry on? So he better get to a semifinal for anything for me to say that justifies what I've seen so far. And he's never moved to America. He barely is in America. He has shown no desire whatsoever that he wants to be here any longer than coaching in a World Cup.
Well, maybe.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And every interview he's given, basically since the time he's been here, is, yeah, I really can't wait to be back in the Premier League.
I mean, or La Liga.
If Real Madrid comes calling,
If Real Madrid came calling,
curtains.
Let's take it. Let's go in a little bit let's look at the Matt Crocker situation and look at the Pochettino situation.
Yeah.
If Real Madrid came calling when Xabi Alonso got fired, and Real Madrid said, Pochettino's our guy. Mm-hmm. We'll pay the exit clause. We'll pay you what you want. You're our guy. And Pochettino came out and said, you know what? My dream has always been to coach Real Madrid. And I don't know if I'll ever get this opportunity again. I have to take this. And I think most of the U.S. soccer fans would be like, that's not very cool, but yeah, we get it.
no, who would say that?
No.
Really?
I highly doubt
I think
that.
everybody would say, yeah, I get it. It's Real Madrid.
You honestly think that you say to yourself, I got a chance to be the coach of Real Madrid.
Well, I'm agreeing with. I'm saying that most people would understand.
The fans. But the fans, I think, would have
the fans would be disappointed, but they deep down would understand.
Disappointed is a huge understatement.
You think that?
Case.
Yeah, but I'm hearing a lot more fans that aren't necessarily super excited with what Pochettino has done so far.
Well,
have you seen any fans going, "Hey, isn't this great? How great U.S. soccer's been playing since Pochettino has taken over?"
2 months out of the World Cup, I think that's.
No, I'm saying,
that's what
but
I'm
this
saying.
was January.
Right.
So you had 6 months, you had camps and all that. Oh, it would have been a blow.
It would have been crazy.
I think it would have helped us, but that's me.
Listen.